Hi, everybody. Sorry for my lateness. I had to get everything going on my end. As far as the setup, we live now. Let that we're live. Shout out to everybody. Thank you guys for being here. Let me make sure I share this with everyone. Shout out to everybody. Oh my goodness. It is Sunday, November 7th. Guys, there's literally what, like how many days till the year is over? This is insane. It just went by so quickly. Crazy, crazy, guys, crazy. All right, so we about to get started. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button. All right. All right. Welcome everybody. Like, I know, isn't it? And then the hour change too. This was definitely an eventful year for the channel for sure, but for news and different things that have been happening around the world, definitely an eventful year. I mean, we started with the fires and then yeah, I mean it kind of went crazy after that. You had the Diddy trial, you had all kinds of things that were happening both in Hollywood and around the world. Way too much stuff happening around the world. But welcome everybody, guys. Thank you so much for being here. You guys can be anywhere else but you're here, so we definitely got some stuff to get going and started with. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's Lady Pamela's birthday. Happy birthday, Lady Pamela. Shout out to Lady Pamela. It is her birthday. Thank you for the heads up. Now, I did notice that there were some people put some hearts in the chat and cakes for Lady Pamela. It is her birthday today. Thank you, Educo. That was really sweet of you for reminding me and letting the people know because, I do be forgetting. And hold up. Let me see. There was some other stuff that I wanted. Somebody else had put some other stuff in the chat, but I might be too late to go back. I know we have new members. Shout out to the new members. If I did not shout you out, I'm sorry. The screen kind of like after a while it erases the new membership. So that's totally not my fault if I'm not able to shout you out, but it does that. So if you became a new member, I think there was new members that became members yesterday, last night. Shout out to you and thank you for joining the channel. Yes, yes. Happy birthday, Lady Pamela. Yes, thank you guys. Make sure that you yeah, we definitely had an hour change. So keep that in mind. Thank you. And hype the video up for your favorite creator. Thank you. So happy to be part of the Rabbit's Den. Ronan, 19 months. I feel like it's been longer, Ronan. But thank you, Ronan, for supporting my channel and for being my wonderful, beautiful mod. You know I love you guys. Thank you guys. Shout out to my mods. Penny Richie's member for 6 months. Thank you, love. Shout out to you, Penny. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Y'all are amazing. Thank you, y'all. I got to get a drink of water. Okay. So we definitely have quite the docket today. Now I want to shout out another person too, or the people. Shout out to the people that sometimes I have to do timestamps when I'm doing multiple topics. So I know people are only here for a specific topic, right? Shout out to the person that puts the timestamps on my videos because that does take time. So thank you. I tend to pin your comments when you do it. I don't take offense to it. I think it's great. Y'all are really helping me when you do that. So thank you if you are a subscriber and you put the timestamps because that's amazing. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Oh, 1 second, guys. Sorry, guys. I had somebody at my door. This is when they come out, right when I'm like live. Hold up, y'all. And I hear them again. I'm like, you got the wrong address, y'all. Please take that shipping somewhere else. People just be doing that all the time when I'm live. Ronan, thank you for becoming for gifting memberships. Thank you, Ronan. Okay, guys, we about to get started. Sorry about that. So a couple things that are, excuse me, that are we should keep on radar at this point. So for those that don't know, tomorrow is the Jake Haro sentencing. Okay. And I got this little article here that I thought was very interesting. I haven't seen anybody report on this quite yet as far as the news media, but I think it's important to talk about it. Now, you guys know we've been talking about Jake Haro, Emmanuel Haro, as far as what's been happening in that case with the 7-month-old who they reported missing, went on social media and on the news media talking about, you know, somebody stole this baby from mom, Rebecca Haro, and somebody knocked her out, left her a black eye, and the last words they heard was "hola," and they basically stole this baby. Come to find out that these two parents are monsters, and they actually murdered their child. That's what they did. But the Orange County Register reported the prosecution defense disagree on sentence for Jake Haro in the death of 7-month-old Emmanuel Haro. So tomorrow is going to be a very interesting sentencing date, guys. We will be live. And this is basically where we're at right now. This is everything that you need to know as we are going to be going live tomorrow for this sentencing. I think it's important. The Riverside County District Attorney's Office will seek a minimum of 31 years sentence for the Cabezon resident Jake Haro when he is sentenced Monday, November 3rd for murdering his 7-month-old son, Emmanuel Haro, while the public defender's office will argue for a term of 15 years to life. Court documents filed Friday show. So again, some of these documents are not available for us to review. A lot of this information has been under seal. So this is something very interesting. The defense is going to be arguing, my client, 15 years. But the prosecution is saying 31 minimum. I think it's so crazy to me. It's like this guy should be in there for life. I mean, he already basically took the life of his first child, and then he got to do it again on his, he murdered his second child. Like, it wasn't enough, right? Like, now they're trying to say, well, we gonna definitely do it. We need to figure this sentencing out, make it minimum 15 years. Crazy work. Haro, 32. Okay, he's 32 years old. On October 16th, pled guilty at the Riverside Hall of Justice to second-degree murder, assault on a child under 8, causing death and filing a false police report. There's nothing in the law or before this court that should lead a sentencing judge to believe that this man deserves anything but the maximum sentence allowed by law. This is what the assistant District Attorney Brandon Smith wrote. Emmanuel remains missing as of Friday, as of the filing. They still don't know where this baby body is at, even though the district attorney's office has said, well, we have an idea. No, they don't. District Attorney Mike Hestrin has previously said that Emmanuel died from prolonged abuse. Second-degree murder carries a sentence of 15 years to life. Okay, the term for a child assault conviction is 25 years to life. The DA's office said that the murder and assault were part of a same act. Under California law, a defendant can be sentenced only one charge if one act resulted in convictions on multiple charges. Typically, a judge will sentence the defendant on the count that carries the longest prison sentence. But Superior Court Judge Gary Polk is not bound by that practice. Smith proposed in his filing on Friday that Haro first be sentenced to 6 years for violating his probation. My goodness. Haro had pled guilty to the court in 2023 to child abuse, causing great bodily injury after he and his wife abused their 10-week-old daughter. At the time, her name was Carolina, but they've changed the name after she was adopted to Promise Faith. In 2018, to point where she cannot use. So they abuse her to the point where she can't use her body, her arms. She's got cerebral palsy. This is what the article is reporting. This is what Smith wrote. Haro was ordered to serve 180 days in custody, and 6-year prison term was suspended as long as Haro did not break more laws. On the same day, Haro admitted killing Emmanuel. He pled guilty to being an felon in possession of ammunition. He was already violating his probation prior. I'm surprised. What happened was the reason why they didn't violate him, even before Emmanuel was, maybe even born. They didn't violate him because the court continued to add, there was a continuance that kept pushing. This man should have been in prison from the first act. He should have been in prison from violating his probation on that 2023 charge. And he should have never have been able to have had his arms around or near Emmanuel Haro. Like literally, he shouldn't have been around any babies. Truly. So here we go. And it keeps going. After Haro finishes that 6-year term, Smith wrote, he should begin serving a sentence of 25 years to life for assaulting Emmanuel. 1-year sentence for a misdemeanor count of filing a police report. Haro and wife Rebecca claimed that Emmanuel had been kidnapped. Should run at the same time, Smith wrote. Jake Haro murdered 7-month-old Emmanuel, but in reality, he comes before the court having taken the lives of 2 young children, Smith wrote. If there's a lower form of evil in this world, if there's a lower forms of evil in this world, I'm not aware of them. That's how it is. What do you guys think? The laws need to change? Yeah. Mandatory vasectomies, period. I'm sorry. And I know that violates a lot of civil rights and whatever, but I think that there needs to be something about mandatory vasectomies. I'm sorry. Like, see, people like this should not be procreating at all. No. Anyways, let's keep going. Deputy Public Defender, okay, Allison Lowe, in a document also filed Friday, said Haro should receive credit for admitting his guilt. And doing so at an early stage of the case. Because of that, Lowe wrote, Polk should sentence him on the lighter of the 2 felonies, the murder charge that carries a penalty of 15 years to life. Lowe added that Haro does not have the ability to pay fines or fees. Oh, poor guy. Poor guy, right? Let's keep going. Lowe added that Haro does not have the ability to pay his fines or fees. Prior to his arrest, Mr. Haro was not working and was on disability. I mean, didn't we find that as well when we were looking into this case a little bit deeper? That they were filing disabilities all the time? Him and Rebecca were filing all kinds of disabilities, all kinds of things and stuff like that. Okay. Prior to his arrest, Mr. Haro was not working and was on disability. Rebecca Haro, 41, is due in court on Monday. Court records show that her attorney, Jeff Moore, plans to object to the judge's order and made a private document related to a so-called Perkins operation. Oh, look at this. Again, the Perkins operation. Again, there it is. Plans to object to the judge's order that made private a document related to a so-called Perkins operation in which a suspect is placed in a jail cell with an inmate who is being paid by law enforcement, attempts to elicit a confession. No one has revealed which of the Haros was involved in that ruse, but it did happen apparently. Rebecca has pled not guilty to the same charges to which her husband admitted. The case has garnered national attention, with local residents building a makeshift memorial to the baby outside of his home and going on impromptu and hopeful ground searches. Others fluent in social media have devoted hours of coverage to the case, in some instances breaking news ahead of the mainstream media, but in others creating a burden for detectives who authorities said have to devote time to investigating the ultimately false claims. Again, throwing shade to the social media people that are out there, who care about folks. You know what I mean? Literally. I have to kind of wonder. Yeah, the quote unquote so-called Perkins operation that never happened, right? That's what they said. That's what they said. They were abusing their kids to help from the government, in my opinion. To get help from the government, I mean, literally, to get disability for kids, they have to be seen by doctors. They apply for this. So Jake Haro was the one that had applied for, I think, workman's comp, and he was on disability or something like that. Disability for what? I'm not really sure. So the disability wasn't for Emmanuel; it was for Jake. And then there were various filings that were found with the workman's comp for various jobs that they had. Mhm. Which kind of makes you wonder, right? My understanding is that they were renting this property from family. So they could go without paying rent. Maybe there might be some like wiggle room in that and whatnot. Keep that in mind when it comes to things like this. Transparency is needed in this case. I agree, Robin. I agree. It's been one of those things where for those of us, it's just unfair, like when we think about things that fall through the cracks, this would be one of them. Absolutely. Absolutely. A girl, thank you so much for being a member for 3 months. Shout out to you, my love. So that is the latest. We will be live tomorrow covering this. Make sure you guys are joining us for this coverage because I think it's important. I really do appreciate everybody here in the chat. Thank you guys so, so much. Now, let's move on because we got to talk, girl. We got to talk a little bit of an update on this case that we've been following. Now, hold up, y'all, because I got to close my door real quick. Hold up. Okay. Taking advantage of the slip and falls. That's right. Yes. Jake went back to work for a day and he said he hurt his back. Lord Yolanda. Well, maybe like by standing, he hurt his back. I don't know. But apparently that is the excuse and he deserves time credited. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. No, there should be something about him needing prison, period, because of the fact that he did this before. He did this before to his first child. No way. We'll be at work listening tomorrow. Wish I could help. No worries, Ronan. I love you. Y'all, shout out to my mods. You guys are not, it's not mandatory. You guys are amazing. I appreciate it when you guys are here. Okay. He hurt his back getting out of bed. Belen, that hurts, love. That hurts. All right. Y'all are clowning in the chat. Let's talk about another situation, another case. So Laken Snelling. Laken Snelling, we got a little bit of an update on this Laken. She must wear electronic monitor after judge restricts release for cheerleader who allegedly left baby in closet. What? Again, baby. I don't know if the baby died in the closet or if the baby died and then she put the baby in the closet. I guess that's to be determined while the investigation, I believe, is still ongoing. So I guess Laken saw a judge during the week and she is now having a little bit more restrictions, which I'm here for because I think it's important. Laken Snelling must submit to electronic monitoring as part of her pretrial release. She also will be subjected to house arrest in only one location. So the former cheerleader is waiting to see if a grand jury will indict her after a newborn baby was found dead in her closet. So for those that have not followed the story, this girl hid her pregnancy, knew she was pregnant. I must say knew she was pregnant based on reports that have been put out there already. She had a baby and put the baby in the closet. She gave birth like in her bathroom upstairs while her roommates were hearing all the noise. And she put the baby there with the cleaning supplies and then went to class, but didn't go to class. The roommates went in there and they found the dead baby. And that's when they called 911. And so, again, there are searches, there are things that would lead you to believe that she was hiding her pregnancy, like, 25 weeks, what it means to be 25 weeks. Again, Laken is somebody who had access to resources on campus for either whatever life choices she wanted to make to her body, to prenatal care, to giving the baby away in a safe haven situation without any questions. There were so many options for her that she decided to take this route. Just saying. So the judge orders Snelling to serve the remainder of her house arrest at home of her father, as opposed to splitting her time between her mother and her father's home, as outlined in the court initial pre-trial release conditions. Snelling also must contact pretrial services within 7 days to facilitate the commencement of electronic monitoring. It is unclear why the judge decided to modify the conditions of Snelling's release. First Assistant County Attorney John Hain, who submitted the proposed order to the court, did not respond to requests for comment. That's kind of make you wonder what happened. Did she violate something? Did they need more writing for what's going on? Snelling is still waiting to see if she will be indicted by a grand jury on criminal charges stemming from the events of August 27, when it is alleged she gave birth to a baby which fell onto the floor of her bedroom, according to a pair of search warrants. And she actually made a lot of admissions during her hospital stay as well, which kind of like, if you follow the Alexi Treviso case on the woman who also murmured her baby, this follows like confessions to law enforcement. I have a feeling that they're going to use some type of a situation there where they're going to figure out, well, if you're making your confession to a law enforcement versus a medical staff, what does this look like? This is going to be a big case about that, just like Alexi Treviso's, as it's heating up right now. We're still waiting to hear back from the New Mexico Supreme Court on the Alexi Treviso. You guys know we've been following that to a T. So hopefully we'll get some more updates about this. She is still waiting on the grand jury to figure out what's going to happen, whether they're going to be coming forward with charges. So that is the update on Laken. They've upped her, monitoring. She could only be in one address, and she has to be on what sounds like maybe GPS monitoring. I think it's fair. Let's keep things even, regardless, like a crime is a crime, and we cannot be playing with these people, guys. We cannot be playing with these people at all. All right, guys, we have to move on. We're going to talk about Melodee Buzzard, and then at the end, we'll talk about a little bit of David, and just some of the few updates that are happening with that. So shout out to everybody that's waiting patiently. But we have to talk about Melodee Buzzard. So two reports that dropped during the week from News Nation. Shout out to Ashley Banfield. She's been on it. I think her reporting actually has been, whether I agree or don't agree in certain aspects, I really like the way she's kind of reporting a lot of this, because I think it's kind of like it's giving us information that a lot of us may not have accounted for when it comes to this Melodee Buzzard situation. She did actually interview some family members of Ashley Buzzard, Melodee Buzzard's sisters. Okay. Melodee Buzzard's daughter. Ashley Buzzard, Melodee Buzzard is the child that's missing. Confuse that. So in this situation, right, you have a child who, when this initial story broke, she was 9 years old when she went, like when people first or last had contact with her. That's what we were told, right? She hadn't had a school picture in 2 years. Then law enforcement spots some pictures of her, and she's wearing a wig to disguise her face. Mom, they're trying to figure out, well, what happened to this child? What's going on? They're going out there to figure out, the schooling, what's going on with the school, who and what happened. When was the last time she was actually in the school versus, actually seen on the computer, because she's homeschooled is a choice that she made. Ashley Buzzard has cut off people in her family, and it's said that Ashley Buzzard has severe mental health issues, some of which I don't feel like have been addressed. So she's isolated herself and her daughter. She takes this trip to Nebraska and then kind of cuts everybody off, right? And that's the last time that this is supposedly Melodee Buzzard. It's the last time anybody sees her on footage. She comes back without Melodee, and then they're looking for Melodee. Mom is uncooperative. So they get a search warrant. They remove mom out of the property. They get a search warrant. I have pictures of what looks to be the court paperwork at this point, and I'll show you guys what that looks like. And nothing is coming out of this. There's not it's just a crazy situation, because it's how does this happen? where this child completely falls through the cracks. I'm not surprised that this is a homeschool situation. Guys, homeschool, the district completely washes their hands off of homeschool students. They tore that house apart. That's what I heard. Kristen, you're absolutely right. They literally wash their hands off of this homeschool situation. They do. They don't go check if a child's behind is not in a seat at a certain date of a calendar date, the school doesn't make any money off of that. So they don't even account for that child. If they're not making money off of a child, they are not going to give an ish about this child. But there's so many parts of this that there's a lot of failures in this that we could look at, right? You could look at the failure of the school. You can look at the failure of the CPS system. You can look at the failure even of certain family members, where it's like, if you know your family is struggling with mental health issues and it's so severe and they have a child, guess what? It may not be written in rule, but it would be nice to at least maybe check in on them. They might cut you off because they are adults and they get to make those life decisions. That's fine. But hey, it's okay to call a wellness check on a family member. You're not doing anything. And some of these wellness checks are anonymous. It's okay to do that, especially if you're concerned, right? Because nobody should be cutting anybody off, especially if they have children and you know the severity of somebody's mental health. I've seen it happen time and time again. Don't be ashamed if you got a call because they got a little newborn or a new child and they're not answering the phone. Don't do it. Just call and have some put that on somebody, right? Even if they don't accept your calls, put that on somebody. Don't give up on that. All right, let's keep going with this.
But police say when Ashley Buzzard returned home on October the 10th, her daughter was no longer with her. That's not good. We don't know how police know that, but they say it's a fact. Nor do we know why Ashley Buzzard drove to Nebraska, nor what became of Melodee between California and Nebraska. But we do know that Mom is apparently home tonight. And I am real curious to know whether she's handing out candy to all the trick-or-treaters on her block. And what's running through her mind right now if she is. This time last night, that mom, Ashley Buzzard, was out of that house, and not by choice, it looked like. Police had come to collect her and move her to what they called a, quote, alternate location, while they scoured her house and her garage for evidence. And not just her house and her garage, they also scoured a storage unit and that rental car that she took that trip across the country with her daughter a couple weeks before.
You know what's so crazy? When I first reported on this, I think not first, but like I did a video, was it last Sunday? And I put the words trafficked. Somebody said in my comments, that's clickbait. Some parents do traffic their own children. That does happen. Some parents will sell their children. Now, nothing has been confirmed. Nothing has been found. Nothing. I get it. But it is not outside of the realm of possibilities that something was done like that. It does happen. Mm-hmm.
So the way they did this was weird. The plainclothes officers with, guns and holsters on their hip, which was the dead giveaway that they were officers, although I can't be certain. They came and picked her up. She packed a bag. She got into a van, drove off with them. And then they brought her back. Many hours later, yes, but they brought her back to the house. And according to a neighbor, those agents went inside and stayed inside with her for about 30 minutes before they finally came out and left on their way. That was around 12 midnight, 1 a.m. Pacific time last night. The house, though, that she came home to was very different. A neighbor tells us exclusively that agents took out 2 large yellow evidence bags.
Wow.
And that they also removed carpet and drywall. And it appears they tore up some of the concrete in the garage.
Y'all see that? Why would they do that? Blood testing, evidence, all kinds of things. Why would you do that to your own child? It does happen. It happens a lot more often than people know. Yeah, it does. The carpet is no good. Drywall, cement, all kinds of things. It does happen, guys. It really does. It's unfortunate, and I've seen it time and time again, but it's a thing. Get that. Yeah, get it all. Get it all. They usually do it for blood testing and stuff like that. Yes, please hit that like button, please, and thank you. Appreciate it. They need to have a search crew to search from Cali to Nebraska. Right. And I'm assuming that's where the feds kind of come in if they took her across state lines.
That gave me Gacy vibes. I'm not going to lie. I just watched the Gacy docudrama, and Gacy took detectives into his garage and started like taking spray paint and Xing the areas. Goes, oh, here's where this guy is, and told him the whole story. And of course, what did the detectives do? Wide-eyed, took it all in, and then returned and actually cut into the concrete. So that's kind of fresh in my mind. So hearing that agents were in Melodee Buzzard's home, well, Ashley, her mother, was at an alternate location, and that they are taking concrete out of the garage, I didn't feel good. But here's what I do know. They didn't find anything because Ashley Buzzard wouldn't have been coming home, right? If they'd found anything like they found in Gacy's, they'd never, ever bring her back home. She'd be in the lockup, right? Yeah. The local jail. But the home and the garage, that's not the only search warrants that were executed last night. The feds also, and I say the feds because they had FBI on their jackets, they also searched a storage locker. And they searched that rental car that Melodee was last seen in.
Why do you think that is? Why? What's with the searches and the things that they're searching?
Which made me a little frustrated because it's been weeks since that rental car was returned. How many people have rented it since? How many times has it been vacuumed? But you're going to hear in a minute why that matters. Ashley Buzzard, the mom, needless to say, is stonewalling everybody, not just the investigators, but Melodee's relatives on her dad's side too. And don't forget, Melodee's dad died back in 2016 when Melanie was just a baby. But worse than that, Ashley, that mom, now seems determined to sabotage the search for her own kid.
Yes.
You probably saw my coverage earlier this week.
She was tearing missing person posters off of the area. Mental illness or not, it does kind of make you wonder what that's all about, right?
Where Ashley Buzzard was caught ripping down her kid's missing posters. Her own daughter's missing posters out in her front yard. She's tearing them down, collecting them up, bundling them up and walking into her house like it's garbage. My next guest knows all too well about what the FBI does when a child is missing and the agents start flipping the house. Jennifer Coffendorfer is a retired FBI agent and a good friend of mine, and I turn to her whenever I need to figure out what's what. Here's our conversation.
With this being said, though, I think that's important, and the reason I played this part is because Ashley Banfield kind of summarizes it very well as far as the interviews that she's had. There are many evil cases like this, not enough law enforcement to investigate and hold people accountable. I agree, and this is the family. Let's go to the family interview, which I thought, I don't know. I'm still kind of like, okay.
Melodee's sister, and Elizabeth Meza is Melodee's aunt. Thank you, both of you, so much for being with me tonight. Obviously, there's a lot of breaking information that's happening, and this search is going on right now at Ashley Buzzard's house. There's a canine search at the house. They're searching a storage locker. They're also searching the rental car. Are police or authorities keeping you in the loop as to any of what's going on?
Not really. We spoke to the news girl that's been following it. She called and just let us know what was going on, and that Ashley was actually not arrested or detained. She was moved out of the home so they could search. But as far as detectives, we've called, left messages, and they haven't returned any calls. So we've been in the dark.
So what do you make of this?
They have been in the dark. This is family, right? Again, sisters. What do you guys think? And like I said, I feel for them because this is a very difficult position to be at. Now you have like everybody looking at you in a microscope, maybe pulling together and pulling apart the things that you've said or done, or, maybe your last conversations. How do you guys feel about Ashley Buzzard's family speaking out?
Imagery that we've got now. The FBI is there. We've seen plainclothes police officers showing up and taking her with a packed bag in a van. Do you have any idea what might be going on here?
No idea. I mean, they must have probable cause to, be searching, obviously. Maybe she said something. I mean, I don't know. It's all speculation at this point. We're just waiting for her to let us know where Melodee is so we could bring her home safe.
I mean, that is the goal of everyone. The police who are working on this, the neighbors who are keeping an eye on what's going on out in front of that house. There was that other video that I just played early on about showing Ashley Buzzard taking down all of those missing child posters that were out on the front, front sidewalk out in front of her house. It just breaks my heart to see video like this, and I can't imagine what this is like for you guys.
Yeah, it was extremely hard to watch that because, I know my niece went out there, my mother-in-law and family members, and put signs up there, not only for the community to see it, but for Ashley to remember, that you have this beautiful daughter and we want her back. We want her safe. And for her to just rip them down like they didn't mean anything, it's heartbreaking.
So I'm curious about what you said about those who set those posters up. Do you know specifically who put the posters out that she's tearing down?
Not like exactly which ones. My niece Karina did.
I myself did put a poster up.
So she put them up and she's tearing them down, right? And I think that that's the part that is like, what's the word? Sorry, I just smacked my lips because I'm thinking out loud. Somebody said it here. Shout out to Soybean, tearing down posters because a child isn't missing and the mom knows exactly what happened. I think that kind of it lends itself for that conversation. When there is a level of severity in mental illness, right? You can make the argument that it makes you wonder, well, what's the like, is there premeditation or intent behind behavior that they are doing, right? Tearing down posters, what is that all about? Especially if you know that this is like they're out there, right? Are you just willfully wanting to move this out of the way, or what's going, like, well, what's happening here? Right? Because at the end of the day, she's gone unless she knows where this child's at, and she's not cooperating, right? So this is kind of where that fine line of like, is this mom, is this an intentional act on her part? Is this her in psychosis, or is this her like, wanting to disguise the situation? And I'm not giving her any excuses. I'm literally using the words that people have said, like her mom, Ashley Buzzard's mom, said something to the effect that her mental illness is pretty severe or something like that, and she cuts people off. That's what happened. That's why they're having a hard time even keeping up with her. Yeah, exactly. If she's not missing, why not say where she's at? So it lends the argument for a couple things. Now, imagine this. The other side of this argument could be this. Well, she is so mentally ill that these people, maybe she sees these people that are banging or knocking at her door or searching for her, as bad people, as people that are trying to hurt Melanie. And so that's why she's closed off. Could very well be a case, right? Like, I'm thinking of different ways in which you can look at this. And not excusing it. Please note that we don't know what's going on. I've never spoken to mom. We're only, making a thought process based on the information that we have.
So do either of you know if Ashley put any of those posters up? I mean, it's her daughter, and I've been in this business a long time. You cannot keep a mother away from us or police when their child is missing. They're looking for attention. They're clamoring for information. They're handing out the flyers themselves. They are not tearing, signs down.
Yeah, no, she did not put any of those up. She didn't, but she ripped them all down.
It's really distressing to see that. And again, here's this other video of the van showing up with the officers. Are the neighbors able to give you any further information about what they could hear? Because you can see some of the neighbors out front there, and they're sort of within earshot of what's happening. Were they able to shed any information about what happened when these officers, well, I'm going to just call them what appear to be officers, because we don't know for sure if they're officers. But did you hear anything about what was said?
Like the conversation that they had with her?
Well, either the conversation you had with her, or could anybody hear out on the street or the sidewalk what these officers were saying when they were on location?
Oh, no, I haven't heard of anything.
Interesting.
What they were talking about or to her. No, they wouldn't. The officers wouldn't even respond when they were asked what agency they were from. They wouldn't even respond to the question.
And no one could overhear what was being said to Ashley, either as they were arriving or doing this, taking her out?
Not that I'm aware of.
So, Corinna and Elizabeth, let me know about the past, because this is not the first time that that Ashley Buzzard has had troubles and has had Melodee taken away from her. Can you walk me back to those days and what happened, when it was, and what the circumstances were when Melodee was taken away?
There's a history, guys, and that's why I say, I'm like, you guys check in with people that that have minor children that are struggling with mental health issues or anything. You just got to check it, especially if there is already a history on such situations. I think that this is maybe where the family could have done better in this, right? That they could have checked in and just to see if she's okay. Even if she cut you off, then I'll send a wellness check. If you don't want to talk to me, go talk to an officer.
From her?
I'm not sure on like the exact reasons why she was taken away. I can only speak on when I talked to Ashley previously on why her other child was taken away. But as far as why Melodee was, I'm not sure. I was told it was because she attempted suicide and her mental state was completely unstable and it was just declining. And so that's why she was taken away. But that's what I was told.
And Corinna, as her sister, this has got to be.
Now, somebody said in the called up, mine's y'all, she could have totally hidden Melodee because she feels like her daughter's in danger. Psychosis isn't logical. Absolutely. That could very well be a thing, right? Dr. Edwards says, Rabbit, why did no law enforcement or anyone who saw the mental illness in mom call way before a safety check on mom to be evaluated? Yeah, 72-hour hold. Well, it's like, I think it was Pika who said it, something to the effect of like Lori Vallow, for example, was given 72 hours to produce her children. Otherwise, she would be held in custody. I'm waiting for this to happen too. Like there should be at this point, if you don't produce this child, you're going to be held in custody. Something to that effect. Does that mean that mom's going to be compliant? Probably not. Maybe not, but there is a lot of questions to this. I don't know how the dad died. That's a great question. I don't think we know. He had a motorcycle accident. Did you read that, Donna Lee? I've never heard of how he died, though. That's crazy work. She had a breakdown after her husband passed away and the family took care of the baby. His family tried to take the baby away from her, so she took Melanie to Iowa. Wow. See, I was not aware that it was a motorcycle. That's really, really sad.
So heartbreaking. I think I've read accounts in the past that you have made overtures, you've knocked on the door, you've asked if you can help, if there's something that you can do, if your sister Melodee has everything she needs. Can you walk me through some of those experiences?
Yeah, so I just been trying to make contact with Ashley to get answers and hoping that she would tell me something as to where Melodee may be or if she's okay.
And did you get any kind of response at all?
No.
What happened when you knocked on the door? Would she actually come to the door? Would she talk through the door? Would she open the door? Like, describe for me what your interactions were
I think
like.
she told her to go away or something. That's what I heard.
So there was one interaction that I did have with her. Going to the door, I was knocking. I waited for her to come out. I was probably there for about 30 minutes. She finally came out to do the laundry, and that is when the news reporter caught it on camera that I went and spoke with Ashley, asking her if she's okay, if Melodee's okay, if there's anything I could do for them. She did not answer any questions regarding Melodee, only to let me know that everything has been hard on her and her mental health, and that she didn't appreciate all the attention she's been getting, and the fact that I was there and knocking at the door when she didn't want to answer.
Wow. Yeah, there you
Did
go.
she seem hostile towards you?
No, she doesn't really have like much emotion. Like very just straight face, like no emotion at all.
Elizabeth, this notion that Ashley took Melodee, if the surveillance pictures are what we hear they are, and that is that they're at a car rental agency in California, and that car drove all the way to Nebraska and back. Do you have any idea if Ashley Buzzard has a connection to Nebraska, or if her daughter, and I can't imagine this at 9 years old, Melodee has a connection to Nebraska?
And we don't know, but it sounds like, I don't know how detectives or law enforcement determine that this is her, and they're not sharing that, right? Like they're not sharing that, because here, I mean, clearly this is a much older Melodee Buzzard from the pictures. I mean, her features and her face, she's wearing a wig to disguise herself. Where she got that wig, I'm assuming from mom or something. If she was driving with mom, what happened here? That is the question. will we ever really know? I don't know, man.
No, I have no idea. I mean, talking to her in the past, she never mentioned Nebraska. She never mentioned very much family or friends at all, actually. So when we heard Nebraska and Kansas, that was like shocking to us because she never talked about any other family besides her mom and her daughter. And they're both local. So no.
Well, not suggesting that this is the reason, but it is a hub for trafficking, human trafficking, sex trafficking, and that would make me think that the police would be knocking on your door, asking as many questions as they could about what you know about Ashley Buzzard and a connection to Nebraska. Have they been asking you for whatever information you might have about this woman and her daughter?
No, I talked to a detective probably about 2 weeks ago, and it was very brief, and he said he'd keep us posted. And I actually called the Omaha Police Department to leave a message because I was getting tips sent in to me, so I had wanted to forward them, and nobody has responded either. My mother-in-law has gone down to the detective, the sheriff's department, to try to speak with them, and we're getting no replies at all.
So you got tips that people sent to you, and you tried to give them to the local police who are searching for Melodee, and they weren't interested?
Not that they weren't interested, they're just not replying. Like, you leave a message on a voicemail, and I haven't heard back anything.
They're not going to share.
Wow, no follow-up. All right, well,
I don't think that they're going to, and they're not bound to either, right? Like, keep that in mind. Ashley interviewed an FBI agent on our latest podcast who gave a reason why she may be hidden or not trafficked. Oh, maybe she hit her. Maybe she wasn't trafficked. We don't know. Maybe she adopted her out. I mean, maybe she just gave her away. I don't know. And it's a very scary thought, but people do this. They do this to children.
Corinna and Elizabeth, thank you so much for spending time with me tonight. We are all praying that there's a safe return of Melodee, your sister, your niece, and we'll stay on this as well. And I hope you'll join us again as we continue to watch what's happening in this search and what they find. Thank you again for this, and God bless.
Absolutely.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our news.
Okay, be quiet, Cuomo. Shout out to Cuomo. Unless you have a family member with mental health problems, people don't realize family can only do so much. Yes, I've had family members with mental health problems. I completely understand that there's only so much you can do. And this is why I advise it's okay to call a wellness check on a family member. I don't blame the family per se, but I do wonder if the reason why they are speaking now is because there's a lot of spotlight to this. Fair statement, I think, to make. But if you're new, you probably didn't catch that. Me saying that it's kind of like you have to, if you know that a family member has a mental health problems and they have children and they're not addressing those mental health issues, you probably want to, maybe call a wellness check. People do cut off family members. Yes, I've said this. I think you might have been late when I've said this, but yeah. Shout out to everybody. Okay. Calling for a family check is helping a family out. That's right, Randall. Tell them louder. Thank you. Another creator, shout out to this creator who also made, this is maybe 2 hours as far as the update goes, but I don't think it's anything different. Let me see. What are they saying? I don't know why there's a ghost in the bottom.
We now know with missing Melodee Buzzard, her mom was not detained. I think some of the reporting stations reported she was detained because they thought that she was going to be detained because of the whole 48-hour thing. But what actually happened was
and this is what we talked about when we were talking about the search warrants on Friday. There was some communication about whether she was detained or arrested. They let her go. So I don't even think she was detained or arrested. Nothing like that. I think that they just gave her a space to go somewhere while they did the search warrants. But so as long as she was cooperating with that, even though she had no choice because it's a search warrant, they're in there.
They removed her mother, Ashley, from her home so they can execute the search warrant and search the home more thoroughly. They also did search, I guess they ended up locating the rental car, which I don't think they would get much from it because when you go to a rental place, they end up cleaning it and other people are probably in it. Absolutely. And I believe there was also, as this commenter stated, a storage locker that was searched as well. As of right now, there is literally nothing that has come out of it that we know of right now. And as far as...
No, and it wouldn't. A wellness check wouldn't force the mother to produce Melodee. No, what I mean, this is just a general statement that I made. If you have a family member that's struggling with any kind of mental health issue and they have younger children, it's okay to call a wellness check to see if they are doing okay, especially if they cut you off. That does happen, but no, a judge is going to have to do that as far as making her produce. This is what I was asking. They did that with Lori Vallow. She had to produce the children, even though we know what happened and how that ended. She had to produce the children within 72 hours. Otherwise, she was detained. That's what happened. So yeah, like a wellness check is not going to make anybody do anything.
Is I have seen there's not like an open investigation into any kind of demise of this child. They are still looking for Melodee alive. She's missing. Now, a lot of people have been in my comments with some conspiracy theories saying that the photo that I post of the little girl at the car rental place is not the little girl, that it's the mother. It's not. You can clearly tell by her legs and the way she dresses. It's not. It's clearly a little girl, and it does look like Melodee because they said that it fits a 9-year-old.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this. Like, even the picture, their law enforcement is not telling us how they determined that that's Melodee, but they did. That's the information that they give. There's no other pictures but that. So I must say that as well. That I'm like, I kind of in my mind, I'm like, is this really this child? But if this is what they're given, this is what they're given. What are we supposed to do?
Since nobody has seen this little girl and the other photo is like from 3 years ago or so, I mean, it's a possibility. It's a possibility that it could even be somebody else. You never know. And then also the other conspiracy theory that I've been getting is that the mom looks like she's on drugs because she's lost weight. She actually hasn't lost weight. I think a lot of people are looking at a photo of somebody else that was like knocking on the door and thought that that was Ashley when it wasn't Ashley. The one that I show here is Ashley.
Her facial features have definitely changed. Shout out to this creator. And I was looking at photo because look at this is what mom looks like. Okay. Her features have changed. And let me look over here. Hold up. This is the group that's sharing a lot of information. Let me show you guys. There's more pictures here that I was. So this is, look at how cute. Cute. Like Melanie, cute. My goodness. And this is just photos. She doesn't look like the same woman on that other picture. I don't know if it's necessarily weight loss, but she just doesn't. She does not look like the same woman. Okay. There's been some changes to her. You said this is an AI pic? Really? Because I thought it was her outside of the court. This is mom right here. I don't know. You said it's, I hope it's not AI pics. The first one was an AI pic? Okay. I mean, listen, you got to be careful. Shout out to Gaslit. You got to be careful with the AIs because they'll get you any and every time. This is Ashley's mom. Those AI pics will get you anytime. Look at this is there's Melanie right there. Hold up, y'all. I'm getting a call. Thank you. Sorry. People want to call me when I'm live. This is believed to be Melanie. This is in May of 2023. Somebody took a picture while she was going inside her house. You know, and I mean, it's very small. I don't know. I don't think I can like zoom in. Give me 1 second, guys. 1 sec. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Let me see if I can. Oh wait, I can't zoom in. was trying to see if there was another way I can download a document, but I'm not able to, and it's a court document. I might have to do something different. So this is her at her house. You said, I knew something didn't seem right with those pictures. The one with mom, or is it, I guess I'd have to see which one is the AI. AI is going on the TC community. Yeah, we gotta be careful with the AI stuff, y'all. But it's all over the place. So I don't this doesn't look AI to me. I just don't know who took this one. But it looks pretty clear. I mean, you could tell it's, Melodee from afar. Me too. Definitely. I think that's all we can do is just pray that everything, works out, and that this child is found. I think it's important. Shout out to everybody. Hopefully we will get some more updates on that. I think it's important that we get somewhere with the situation and whatnot. I don't know, man. Y'all let me know what you guys think in the comments. We are going to move on now. I saw Steve Fisher. We're going to talk about Celeste Rivas real quick here. I saw Steve Fisher, and I think I wouldn't be surprised if this is the case as well. So Steve Fisher did point something out. Was it yesterday? That, hold up, let me share this one. It appears, based on tracking LA County medical examiner cases, that most of the deaths previously listed as deferred, likely pending toxicology results, have now established causes and manners of death through about September 1st or 2nd. This suggests we could see a determination in the Celeste Rivas Hernandez case within the next 10 days. So maybe in about 2 weeks, we might get an update about a possible cause of death for Celeste Rivas. Okay. This does not necessarily mean the full autopsy report will be complete by then, but rather that an initial classification will likely be made of both cause of death and manner of death: natural, homicide, suicide, accidental, and undetermined. This assumes her case timeline is consistent with other recent cases at the medical examiner's office. Okay, so keep that in mind. We might be getting Helen, we definitely need some answers. Now, Flojo, shout out to Flojo, who sent me a Flojo, but I also noticed this on Reddit too. Where did it go? Oh, yes, I did. Flojo. Confirmed location of party with David, Neo, Celeste, H, and Vanessa. So again, some of these individuals that, and I have heard from other sources as well, that these specific individuals were they were like in the close group friend. Again, not accusing anybody, we don't know, but could have very well likely knew that there was something going on with David and this, child that was a minor. And again, these guys are closer in the age range of David, right? So did they willfully? I mean, there's pictures of them. There's a picture of a girl that looks like Celeste as well. Looks like Celeste more so than the other ones that people have said that look like her. These ones I think are a little bit more telling. So I don't know, man. He said Neo and Asia are his best friends. That's right. Very close. Very close. That's right. Her body. Yeah, a couple weeks ago. They had a memorial. That's amazing. I passed by the memorial of Celeste Memorial. Really? That's really good to see that. I'm glad that there's a memorial for her. Anyway, so let's get into this. Flagging this as someone who used to live in the building for years, which was very distinct interior features. The photos attached are the locations of the party where we see Neo and Celeste H sitting on the couch with David, and who I think is Vanessa, not Celeste, are behind them. And Vanessa and Neo posting in the hallway also included a recent rental listing. So you can see property and unit details, but not all units look the same, different floor plans. So they put the address in there. There are 3 residential buildings on the property. The selfie pics is for sure in the main building facing the Wilshire, because it's the only elevator flanked by units and has big mirrors on each floor. Maybe a nothing burger, but it might be useful for police to look at security footage from that night, which is June 2nd, according to Neo's IG story. Vero has cameras and 24/7 security in the lobby, garages, and common areas. So they kind of put this here. Now let's look into this. Just some pictures. Let's see if we can make this bigger. Should be able to make this bigger. Here we go. Friends. See, and I don't think this is Celeste, but I thought this was Celeste, right? Look at this. The rental property from the Wilshire, what it looks like inside. The person that was there might have lived there, or at least posted this might have lived there. So understand kind of the floor plan a little bit more. That's interesting. That just kind of show you guys. What's done in the dark will always come to light. Absolutely. Thank you, Lana, for letting the people know to like the video. Thank you. I think everyone has eyeballs would have noticed if there was a relationship between them, yeah, or have been quiet about it. Now, I did see that there was somebody else who pointed out about Steve Fisher's receipt. By the way, let me put this out here too. So the Daily Mail actually corrected Steve Fisher's whatever misstatement they made about Steve Fisher. They actually did correct it. So I think that says a lot about, how the Daily Mail wanted to make sure that they got their information correctly. I'm glad that they did, because I think that, you don't want to be putting some ish out there that somebody didn't say. I mean, already people are looking at people sideways to a certain degree. So if he's able to get that corrected, I am glad that he was able to do that. But apparently that is the situation. What is this? Hold up, y'all. Let me show you something. Oh, this is we've seen this paperwork. Is this the medical examiner's paperwork? Hold up. Cause and manner of death soon to be known for Celeste's case with the LAPD. Okay. Yeah, I mean, again, we're speculating that this is going to be public at some point. And I've seen this paperwork, I think, already been posted. We've talked about it already. This is a ban account. We don't know if it's her. So there was somebody who said that they felt like the Six Flags might have been a Knoxbury farm, and Esmeralda, Celeste's cousin, could have gone to a Knoxbury farm instead of a Six Flags. There was something about that out there that was put out there. And, because there's a Build-A-Bear on both locations, I really don't know, because I've never been to both, but very likely could be the case. Or maybe they went to both. Who knows, right? Maybe they went to both theme parks. Maybe they didn't go to both theme parks. Maybe Esmeralda gave the bear to Celeste and gave her the birth certificate. There's a lot to this, but what I find interesting is that at the end of the day, what we can't say from this situation is that Celeste, as far as a missing person, a missing child, people knew that she was in and out of running with her, she was in and out, right? So she was having contact with family members. To completely label her as a runaway would be inaccurate. What happened is that people did not really report her when she would return home, because she was running away, right? Yes. Yeah, isn't that crazy for 700 square feet? Isn't that crazy? Yeah. Crazy work. I don't think the point is at the park they were about, but the fact that they were together. Yeah, and she wasn't missing. That's the point. Yes, but apparently they're saying another point that they've brought up is that there is a Knox. So you have Knoxbury Farms, which is crazy because I lived in an area where Six Flags was Knoxbury Farms. At some point they broke up. I don't know. So then there's Knoxbury Farms and then there's Six Flags. Okay. So in both theme parks, apparently there's a Build-A-Bear for both. So somebody else had put out that it's very likely that Celeste, that Esmeralda might have gone to one theme park and not the other. And so this Build-A-Bear birth certificate could have came out of just about anywhere, which is maybe a thing. Maybe it could have. I don't know. But what this, even if that's the even if that's the case, okay? Whatever it may be. What all of this tells us, honestly, is that she was having contact with family, and the family was aware that she was there. Now, I get it that Esmeralda was, 17 or maybe 18 around the time that, she was a valedictorian. And so she was also a child herself. And maybe, putting all this on her might be too much. But I'm pretty sure that when she went to graduation, based on what I've also heard from other people, was that there were family members that attended Esmeralda's graduation that were also in relation to Celeste, right? So there were adult family members that were there as well. So it's like somebody could have said something, okay? Like we don't know. So it's a lot of speculation and all that other stuff. At this point, what I personally feel like is that the family was well aware. It's very simple to me. How TMZ was able to obtain the name of the quote unquote boyfriend. They were able to describe certain aspects of the situation, certain tattoos, certain things. I don't know. To me, all of that is like people knew. Mama knew. People knew that she was coming and going. And, when she was found in this car, it wasn't really a surprise to her, right? Thank you, Mac. I love you too. Shout out to you. Y'all are talking about theme parks. You said Disneyland is overrated. All of these theme parks are expensive. You said Knox has better roller coasters. You said it looks like Knox to you. It could be Knox. I mean, they both have Build-A-Bears. But what this tells me, as far as whether the bear came from one location, well, maybe look up the idea of where this bear was from. Maybe Esmeralda wasn't at the theme park with them, and she was at another theme park where she got a Build-A-Bear, and she gave that Build-A-Bear to Celeste. I don't know. We don't know. But what it does tell, it does say to us is that there was family members that were around when she was quote unquote on the run, right? There were family members that knew. Absolutely. I could agree with this. Esmeralda was a child too. There were people that were around Esmeralda. There were family members that attended that graduation that were adult age. That could have said something, right? I have to kind of put that out there too. So even though I don't necessarily put this on the cousin who, there's only so much that she could probably do about her cousin who's on the runaway, who's on the run, who not on the runaway, on the run. I do feel like there's something to be said about the fact that like a lot of people could have spoken out about this, Yeah, she's a college student now, Neymar. You're right, Neymar. She is. Esmeralda's a college student now, but she probably doesn't want any of this in her background, right? She's probably like, I don't want to see this. I don't want to deal with this. That's why the family isn't really speaking because they know they didn't do their best to protecting her. I think that that's it. Night Charm. Honestly, this is why I'm like with SF, finding information. I think it's great in providing information. A lot of questions that we have. Are we going to be able to piece everything on everything? Probably not. There's probably going to be a lot more to this. And, there's only so much that can be told with the receipts and stuff like that, right? What it does, bye, Ronan, shout out to you. She went to Yale. Wow. Maybe that's why she doesn't want any of this following her, Gustavo. I don't know. Anything done to restrain her, force her from the house, keep her away from him would have been a child abuse. That's right. Because you can't lock up your kids. You can't put a chain on your child and be like, you will not go out. There's only so much you can do. But you know what they didn't do? Why wasn't there a police report filed on David? If they had any kind of like, thought that was there. Maybe that's the question. Was there a police report filed on David, accusing him based on whatever information they might have had? Because at the very least, mom or family knew the name. Why wasn't there a police report filed against David? If I find text messages, my kid's on the run. I'm finding my kid running away, right? Why wasn't there this? And this is not like, thank Thank you. Realize it. Shout out to you, love. I haven't seen you in a minute. I hope you're doing well and enjoy your lunch. And shout out to all the hospital workers. Shout out to Sylvia. I don't think Sylvia's here. Shout out to Sylvia. All the beautiful, wonderful hospital workers out there, okay? People have been pulling FOIAs. People have been pulling how many times somebody was dispatched to the home. We have yet to see a report of like, here is a report that mom filed against David. That's a great question. 9-1 Darby, do you think she only ran with David? I think that there was others. I think that it might have been others, but just the simple fact that she knew the name, she had to have known how old he was. I don't put it past it. I don't know what it is. Especially if what Steve Fisher had said about the email that Josh Marshall allegedly received it. So you knew the people that were around. So ultimately, if she was running with, say that she was running to a friend's house, right? Say that that's the case, but then later she would meet with David. You would still file a police report on the fact that your daughter, you believe to be running with an adult and that there were people around this situation protecting said adult, right? To not say anything. And your active efforts of trying to bring your child home. Because ultimately, guys, when things go bad, who do we look at all the time? The parents, the family, sometimes law enforcement, and sometimes CPS, and sometimes the school. The school definitely dropped the ball here too, in certain aspects as well, if you think about it. Even the school knew the name or the person of the individual who was running, who she was running with. The teacher was filmed without his knowledge, and he told it all. And what did he say? She was found cut up in pieces in the car. That's what he said. So regardless, it's like, we could all look at different aspects of this. We can say it's her fault and that fault and this fault and that fault. That's right. Well, and it does make you wonder what level, right? As soon as you find out that the child is with an adult and is being harbored by this adult or being something's going on there, because at the end of the day, I don't care how much of a badass kid Celeste was. Let me be very, very real. I don't care. I don't care if she was a badass kid. Okay. She was still a victim, whether she believes it or not. She was still very much grooming a situation that where she's at, like how all of this happened. That's called grooming, right? There was allegedly communication between them where I can't go to the concert. I can't do this. My mom won't let me go. Don't worry about your mom. He's telling her, don't worry about your mom. Why is he telling her that? Why is he telling her that? Everybody fails her. So it's like, it's weird because sometimes when you have a child that's beyond control of the parent, beyond control of and that's by the way, that is a CPS term, beyond control of the parent. It is a label that they use to report kids that are badass kids. Child is beyond control of the parent, right? It essentially says that we can't control her, and law enforcement can't control her. Education can't control her. She's so beyond control that it makes you look at things a little bit like, well, what can we do to help her? Even if a child's beyond control of the parent doesn't mean that you just give up, right? You don't give up. You don't just say, well, she's going to run. I'm just going to let her stay over there because she's going to come back and forth. It doesn't work that way, right? It doesn't. So to a certain degree, yeah, I feel some kind of way about, Esmeralda, 17, was very young, right? Like while her cousin was running, what can we truly expect her to do? However, I also see this other side of, I'm pretty sure that there were other family members that attended that graduation that were not on photos for Esmeralda. And those family members who were also in relation to Celeste didn't do shit about the situation. They let her be. Right? Better to just let her be and continue to run. No. If I find out my child is running to a whole ass adult, you better believe that I don't care if I don't even have the evidence. I'm going to file a police report so that it's on record that as a parent, if something happens to my child, I did everything that I could to protect my child. I could not put a chain on my kid to stay in one place because they kept running around, but I'm going to do everything that I can to protect my kid. Even if it means, even if all I have is a text message or hearsay, somebody, one of the friends called me and said, hey, Rabbit, hey, Alex, you know what? Your child, he or she is meeting up with so-and-so and this person. I'm just going to give you this information. Oh my God, you better believe it. I'm going to report it. And guess what? Not only am I going to report it, I'm going to go out there and find out. I'm going to go out there and look, because guess what? I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure, even if my child runs away again, no, I'm coming for you and I'm documenting. I'm going to document my efforts. I'm going to make sure law enforcement knows my efforts. I don't get to give up. Hell, some of us don't even give up after 18, right? Like we have to, you want your connection with your kids still. You don't get to give up. And that's the point that I'm making. As a parent, you only have one job. And sometimes we fuck up. Don't get me wrong. I see it all the time. You get very frustrated. I say shit that I don't mean, whatever it is. And then I have to come back and talk about it. And you talk about it. And that's how you build bonds with your kids, and you fix it and you connect with your child. That's what you do. You don't just give up and say, well, she had a boyfriend that was 18. No, F that. No, I reported that she kept running away with a man who is a Hollywood star, and nobody listened to me. I kept reporting this. I kept telling law enforcement and nobody listened to me. And now my kid is in a trunk of a car, dead. Somebody owes something to somebody here. That's what happens. That's what you have to do. Sorry, y'all. I'm letting y'all know because I see it happen every day. When I was working these kinds of cases, you don't give up. You don't. Anyways, shout out to you guys in the chat. I know I got a little passionate, okay, because I'm telling you, this is like heavy in my heart for a lot of reasons. I hope that we find truth in all this situation, and that we get to a point where thank you, Summer. That's right. My son is grown up. My oldest will be 18 next year. I'm gonna still look for his ass if I need to. Okay. I'm gonna still look for whatever. Like that. That's just me. You will never take that away from me. Not as a mom, not as a parent. No, never. I will see you guys later on. I'll probably be live later. We'll talk more later. But y'all are amazing. I really, really do appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for being here. I will definitely see you guys on the next one. Hit the like button. Bye, guys. Thank you. And shout out to everybody that supported today. Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it. Again, Lady Pamela, happy birthday. Shout out to you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Bye, guys.